Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium on the 18th of November 2019. Today I'm sitting upstairs in our house and we have no walls on the first floor, and so it's pretty breezy today as well, and so I apologize for any wind that you may hear coming over the microphone. I put a small sponge on top of the microphone to help mitigate that, but there still may be a little bit of noise, and I apologize for that. But today's Monday. We're going to kind of have a look, see what's going on, and see if we can kind of get some ideas for the coming week. So we're looking at supply and demand. I'm not an economist. I don't really understand economy on a larger scale. I do understand how inflation, interest rates affect the price of currencies, and this is, I think, pretty important to be mindful of. But you don't have to be an economist to trade Forex or anything else. You just have to have an understanding of how liquidity is put into and removed in a marketplace. Okay, and so the supply and demand trading model is based very much on distribution of liquidity in a market. Okay, so this is our trading model. Okay, and so here we have the Euro USD. We have the 4-hour, the daily, and the weekly chart. As you can see here, my resolution is really low because I'm recording this, and so it's a little bit cramped, and I apologize for that. But we do have price reacting on weekly demand down here. We have managed to move above some of these highs here, which is good. So we're showing some strength in the Euro USD, but I don't think this is going to continue for too long. But we are reacting at weekly demand, and so you have to be aware of this, because this is pretty powerful stuff. So the flows are temporarily swapping sides, and now we're going to have maybe the euro move a little bit higher, not much higher, but you can see just looking at price that we have some keen interest on holding price for the time being, providing some kind of support. Okay, so shorter term buying and selling, longer term selling. Okay, and so because we're kind of shorter term intra-week, we're going to be looking to buy and sell on from the 4-hour time frame and up. Okay, so we do have this, which I like. This here is the test in that weekly area of demand. As you can see here, we have a look here. It's kind of here within the wicks, and if you look at this, price came down. We moved sideways for a short period of time, and then we managed to move away. Okay, and if you look here, you can see that this candle here and this candle here kind of form the base. This candle here closed above these two candles, the base, and the low of this is here. So our entry is below that, which is essentially the beginning of the buy zone for this price structure. So as we discussed last week, we have the low, we have the high, and we have price here. Okay, so you have price operating between the origin of this move. Now we're having a bit of a retracement here, okay? And so you want to identify the beginnings of these buys and these sell zones. We discussed this area of demand here. Here we have a child, this is the parent. The beginning of the buy zone is here. And this is where price came to, and now we're moving higher, okay? This does not mean that we're going to continue moving higher or we're going to continue moving lower. This just means a shorter term that we can go either way. And so if you're paying attention to where these buy zones and sell zones are located, then you can use this to find some interesting intraday, intra-week trading opportunities. So price came here, okay? So I think that if price comes down to the low of this buy zone here or low, I think we're going to see more buyers get involved. Medium term, if we look at this, we have a high, a lower high, and a lower low. Price poked through this area here. We entered the buy zone, and now we're moving higher. So I think if price manages to come up here, we'll have some shorter term short potential off these levels here. And if we have a look here, you can see what it looks like, where we had price kind of do something in here. So we had a bounce here, price sat on the level, and then we cut away and we moved below this low. So this is an interesting area, like a short-term trade here, and so this is where I'm expecting price to bounce. We look on the 4-hour chart for buying opportunities, and we have this nice base here. The buy zone that we discussed is here. See, the price came down, we fed into weekly demand, we had a very nice departure, the slingshot was pulled back, and then this is where we left from. So I think if price manages to come down to this low here, then we'll see more sellers get involved here. But for the time being, there's not really anything to do between. There's no demand here, and there's no supply here. We have the beginning of the sell zone, which is here, so we'll probably have a bit of a bounce there. We discussed this one here, this sell zone here. When price was down here, price poked into it. We had about, we can see we had a small reaction off this area. As you can see, the wicks came down here, and then we blasted through it. Okay, and then we had this one here. Price poked into it. We had the retracement, and now price is moving higher. Okay, and so we are going to continue to move higher until this price structure is rebalanced. And here, notice that we have a high, we have a low, we have current price. Okay. So we have this, and so if we look at here, I mean, this is the sell area between the high and the low, and this is the buy area. Keeping in mind where we are in relation to this low and this high, okay? Because price is fractal, as we discussed in our last video, and so we have this going on here, okay? And so I think if price manages to come in here, we can continue to drift higher up to here, and this is where I'll be keen to have like a shorter term selling opportunity in anticipation of price moving low. So if we go up to here and just come down here, that would be just marvelous, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. So that's what we have there. If we have a look on the American dollar, Japanese yen, we look on the weekly chart, you can see that we have our major high, major low, prices here. And so we have the beginning of the sell zone is here. We have something else just here. This is interesting because this is where price departed from, and so it might be worth moving the entry just to around here. If we have a look on the weekly chart, sorry, on the daily chart, you can see that we had, let's do the same thing, had a high, we had a low, current price here, but notice all of these sell zones here. We have a sell zone here, we have supply here, okay, we have another one here, and we have sell zones up and around this area here, okay? So this is an interesting area to sell here, and we do have supply here, and we have a little bit of supply here. Price tested the lower edge of this area, so this is the beginning of the sell zone. So if we look here, you can see this is where price came to. We poked into it, went a little bit deeper, we found liquidity to push price low, and then we went to the opposing side of the market, which is a demand down here, and this is what price is currently reacting on. Okay, so price could go either way. We want to sell higher or buy lower. So if we have a look on the 4-hour chart and we zoom out a little bit, let's get some data. It's crazy, there's a I'm sitting here looking out over the jungle, and there's a small path that goes just on the other side of our garden, and we have these coconut trees. Let me stand up and look. I'm not kidding you, these coconut trees are, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 meters tall, and recently we've had kind of a bit of a wind and maybe some mild earthquakes, and you see these coconuts just dropping down on the path close to where we walk. My boys, we go up this path on our way to school in the mornings. Man, imagine getting a coconut in the head. A coconut is the size of a human head and it's filled with liquid, so it's I mean, we got some serious kilos there. So anyway, a coconut just crashed down in the middle of the path, so I'm pretty grateful I'm under a roof here. Okay, so looking at this, we have this incredibly delicious area. I really like this here, how price came down, we moved sideways, we popped up, very short period of time, and then price left. This is a really interesting area here. And if we have a look closer for clarity, you can see that I could probably do that to the edge of the box. I think we could do pretty well with that. That's just technically that's a very nice area of supply. Just the fact that price moved sideways and we moved up sideways and then we left. Okay, so that's an area of supply. Beyond that, the sell zone is here. Our stop is beyond that, and so we do have some interesting stuff going on there. And above that, we have this here. We have a lot of sell zones above that. We have, let me draw these. We have this, which is nice. Beyond that, we've got the one here. We got this one here, and then we have this one here. Okay, and if we go back, we have some this area here, which is nice. Price did not come to it. Another one of those rally, distribution of liquidity, and then a drop off in price. If we find that, where is it? Here, where we had, where are we? Here, kind of a rally, accumulation of short orders, and then price left, and we have not been back there. You can see we have all of this stuff here as well. Our price came down, returned, slingshot, and so we have sell zone stuff going on from this level here as well. So that could be interesting to see what happens once price has already been there. My bad. So we're looking higher. We want to be higher than that. Okay, so this is the low. Yeah, okay, so I mean there's nothing to do except for focus on the area that we've already found, which is here. Okay, price left. We had an attempt to come back, we failed, attempt failed. So if we manage to come up here, I think we'll see some nice selling enter, which would be interesting. Have to wait and see. But interest rates differentials are positive, so ideally you want to be positioning yourself long on this pair if you're holding the position for longer periods of time or trading big volume, because the difference between the two is quite large, and so just be mindful of this. But for the time being, I think that this is all we have, is that short up here. You can see we have it here, and once price has rebalanced that, then we have this one up here, and then essentially we have the highs. There's nothing up here. This is just testing. This is price testing supply, so we have children and the parent is above. So once price rebalances this and this, then we're going to want to look higher. You can see the beginning of the sell zone here, and then we have this just up here. So you certainly want to be looking higher. Okay, and if you look at this. This is something that we've discussed many times. You have a high, you have a low, you have price here. You don't want to be selling anything in this leg. This is pretty risky. You want to be focusing on selling in this leg only. Okay, so if you look at this, okay, better yet, we have a low, we have a high, we have a low. You don't want to be buying on the move down here. You don't want to be buying anywhere in here. You want to be buying only in this leg here, okay, because this here is price reacting to the demand, which is in the leg this whole move is standing on. Okay, so this is super important to remember, because this is not this is not demand here. The demand is in the leg that showed the push higher. Okay, so we're going to see supply forming here, consuming the demand in this leg lower. Focus on this, not on this. So you can buy here and you can sell here. Okay. Alright, so we have that. Let's have a look at the dollar CAD. What do we have? What we have, let's have a look on the weekly. Yeah, so we have price reacted to this. This here, price came down, we moved sideways, we left, we had some buy zone, we had this buy zone established here. Price went through it and went into the demand. Oh wow, we got that here. And we don't have anything. We want to go higher, because this is a reaction to this. And again, focus on, this is the move that went down, and this is the move that's moving higher. But also notice now that we've managed to form this, and we poked into this area of demand, but we did not manage to move through. Okay, so careful selling, unless you're selling higher, and you can buy, of course, here. Okay, so looking at that, let's have a look at this one here. We have this lovely area where price came up, we went sideways, and then we left. This is nice. The origin, got here, you got this. Okay, it's now price. We have the origin of this move to here. Price went down here, all the way up to here, and now we're doing kind of this stuff, and now we're moving higher. Okay, so price is, if you focus on trend lines, let's turn these on. I will leave those on 8. What do we have? Yeah, we We have trend line kind of moving down. This is like a premature trend line, because ideally, in order to use this point, we want price to move below this. But this is kind of early warning stuff. So we have nothing on here. There's no valid. If we look at this, we actually have a trend line that looks something like this. Okay, because we have high, low, lower high, lower low. Price is going down here. We don't really have any swing points here that we can hook the trend line on. And so, but if we go to the 4-hour chart, notice that we had this, and now price is starting to break down. I like this area here, but price didn't really get there. We managed to kind of peter out before we even got close. If we have a look here, maybe we got to here. Yeah, we got to this area here. We poked into it, but we didn't manage to get to this area that we were talking about last week. We're moving lower. I like this one down here. This is just a nice rally accumulation rally. Just a really nice push away. And if we have a look on the daily chart, you can see that this happened at where price poked into this area of daily demand, and we left. Okay, so a move back into here would be kind of re-referencing the origin of this move, which is nice, because if we focus on the 4-hour chart and we use the things that we spoke about last week, we have this, we have this. Price is going here. We managed to move around. We reacted roughly at supply here, and now we're kind of looking to move lower. If we look at this, sell, and here we're in buy territory. So we can see price continue to move down here until we start referencing the beginning of the buy zone, which we have here. This is the beginning of the buy zone, and this is a demand. So I think once price comes down here, we will have maybe a nice buying opportunity here, but I think for the time being, price is going to have a pretty easy time moving through here because there's no real demand in here. We have some micro demand probably in the 1-hour chart. No, we don't. We have this, but it's kind of price is already traded through this area. I like this one better. This is also a very nice area down here. Yeah, so that's what we have there. If price manages to come up here, we'll probably have like an intraday short. It depends when it gets here. If it gets to it soon, it's good. If it gets to it after price comes up to here, then you'd have to be a little bit more careful, because price will maybe have filled up the order books to drive price higher and move through this with relative ease. So we'll have to wait and see. Aussie American dollar, what's going on here? Well, we go to the monthly. Move all these out of the way. Go to the monthly. What are we doing? We have our high, low. Price was here. Okay, price went up. We went deeper. So that one's no longer there. This is kind of where price currently is. Halfway, sell zone, buy zone. Okay, we have a really nice short here, but that's really far away. We don't really have any huge areas to sell it or buy it on this chart, but we do have this down here, which I'd like to see, and this is also below where the buy zone is, and the buy zone is here. Okay, because this is where price currently, this is the lowest low since the origin of this move. Okay, so let's have a look on the weekly chart. I'll zoom out a little. And we have this here, which is just a really nice clear pattern. Price managed to come up to here. I'd be looking to sell it. And we have another one here. Okay, beginning of the sell zone is here. Price came to it, came close to it. We went deeper, and this is where price turned around. And there's no reason to buy in here, looking on this time frame. Okay, there's no demand below price. We'll have to look here to find the demand. Okay, so as we spoke about just a second ago, you have a move higher, then you have the price, the retracement. Okay, there's nothing in here to do, only sell, and this is where you buy. Okay, in this move here, you don't buy on the micro demand that forms on its way down. Very dangerous. Okay, so let's wait for this thing to go away. So we want to mark off the low, and we want to scroll to the left and see if we can find areas here that might be interesting. So okay, we had this buy zone here. Okay, price, let's mark that off roughly. Yeah, price poked into it, then we left, and now we moved through that. So now we've gone through that, and now we're moving deeper. And if you look down here, we do have a kind of a price moving down, moving sideways, and then leaving. Okay, so that could be pretty interesting. So we do have a child. The parent is down here, so we mark it off. We look something like that. And we have another one below, which is this one here. Okay, this to me looks like a reaction to demand just here. So if we can scroll back, yeah, if we zoom out a lot, I don't really have anything, but we have this already happening. This. Okay, first we had this, then we had this. Price moved down to this area here. What the hell was that? Big gecko fell out of the ceiling and landed on the floor next to me. They make this big slapping sound because they're pretty like they have like kind of like very smooth skin, and when they hit the floor, we have like a wooden floor up here. You can hear this belly flop sound as geckos' bellies slap the floor. Anyway, so we have this here. You can see that rally. You see the red candles in here, and then left. Price came down here, and then left. So the beginning of the buy zone was here. Price went into it. We moved into the meat, and then we left. Okay, so we formed a new one. We got this. We got this. So we had two moves. 1, 2. Okay, and now we're kind of moving back to the origin of this move here. So we want to be looking at the buy zones in this little leg here. When price manages to come past this area here, because this is the beginning of the buy zone for this move, ideally we want to be buying longer term once price moves below here. But intermediate term, we have the buy zone that was here, and now it's been moved to here and then a little bit lower. So it kind of gets lower each time because price has to move lower to find buyers and has to move higher to find sellers. Excuse me. And now we're kind of moving lower. So I want to be looking in here. So let's do that. So let's go to the daily chart and look. Mark off the low. Here. Scroll back, see if we can find where we are. And so we kind of had price move through here. We managed to move into this area here. Yeah, it's not a whole lot here, but we did have this, which was tested a bunch of times and it was removed. The area that did it was, I don't know, kind of in here, I suppose. This is kind of the candle that left. We're kind of reacting at the high area of that. Okay. But on this one here, we have some knowing that we want to be buying lower, well, then you want to be buying lower. Okay, so this is a little bit low. It's not that low, but it is like a nice rally, accumulation rally. Price came up to this one, and we moved through it. We moved to the beginning of the buy zone, which was here. See, and this is where we turned around. And price is probably going to go up to the beginning of the sell zone and then continue moving lower. We have this one. We have this one here, which is interesting because price rallied. We pulled the slingshot back and then we left. So we do have this one here. This is also a nice area down here, just here. So we do have some interesting areas here. There's no supply. Maybe on the hourly chart we have something. Yeah, we kind of have a little bit. Nothing too. We have this. We have this one here, which has been tested already. Oops, wrong thingy. Got this one here. Okay, we've got this one here. Price tested it and we left. But there's nothing. I wouldn't trade here because price has already been back to this level here. So there's nothing to do except for higher. On the smaller time frames, again, can we see if we can buy lower? Yeah, I mean, we have a small area of demand here. This one removed this one. Here. Okay, this one's gone. The area that did it is this one here. You can kind of mark it off like that. So short term area just here at the 68.05. We'll see what happens. But I mean, the major flows are moving lower, so this is a little bit risky. So careful. Okay, good. Let's go to the pound American dollar. What's going on here? Well, all-time lows. All we had was the buy zone, which is here. Price came to it. We can't see anything to the left. This price came to it. Now we're moving higher. Now we're reacting at monthly supply here. Okay, that's where we're testing. We go on the daily chart and have a look. So we have a kind of a shorter term. Yeah, I mean, is this supply? It's a nice pattern, but price didn't really manage to do anything. We managed to have this nice continuation pattern lower, removing this, but there's no demand in here. There was no demand in here. Okay, this is just price reacting at demand. I can't see what's gone on historically because my broker doesn't have the data, but price is reacting at these beginning of these buy zones, and that's pretty powerful stuff, especially on the monthly chart. So this is why we're seeing price move higher. Okay, so we look at the daily chart. We have some things happening. We have this, which I really like. Also because we know this happened right at the beginning of the monthly buy zone. Beautiful. Looking here, there's nothing in here. There's nothing to do in here. There's no selling, no supply. We do have this, which I like. Why do I like it? Let's have a look. I like it because we had this demand here. Tested. This one removed it. And we have this demand here. It was tested once, twice. And price removed it. This one did it. Okay, so we have these two areas, and these are higher, much higher. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do here. There's no reason to sell until we get here or here. Okay, so this is the 137.52 and the 139.14. So only buying for the time being until much higher. We do have this one here. What does that look like on the 4 hour? Yeah, I don't really like that. I was looking to buy here last week, but price never came there. Unfortunately, the 2800 area, we didn't really get there. Price came close, and then we managed to pop up and make a new area. This is a new little area here, but there's a lot of trading in this area, so I'd certainly look here. And if this doesn't work, I would look lower, potentially down here, around here, and ultimately down here, which I like. Okay, so that's what we have there. Good, so let's have a look at the dollar Swiss franc and then we'll be done. So what's going on here? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Look, monthly chart, price is just range bound, which means sell at the extremes. So you want to be selling up here. And you want to be buying down here. Actually, maybe it goes down here like that. Okay, so we have a look on the weekly. Yeah, selling up here. Do we have anything? No, there's nothing really to sell at. You want to sell higher. Price is drifting down. Excuse me. We have this chart that was formed here. The price tested it. Now we're moving higher. I mean, there's nothing really to do on this at all. So I'd be pretty wary on this. There's nothing to do on this time frame. What we do have, I like this up here. So we have this one down here, which is nice, and we do have a short up here, around there. Okay, that's what we have. Price came close to this area. We didn't quite do anything. We managed to move away quickly. So the beginning of the buy zone is here, and we have this one down here, but we do have this one up above. If we look at this, what do we have? Well, we don't really have any. Oops, go to the 4 hour. So I think my entry was around here previously, something like that. I think let's try. I'm not sure if that's what it was. Yes, this is where it was. This is my entry to buy here, which is why I had it there. So we do have that, which is nice. You couldn't see it on the daily chart, but that's all we have there. Okay, so that's what we have for the majors. I'm going to leave it at that. So you have any questions, send them in, and thanks for watching.